Welcome back. As you've already seen, Keith Hillier has joined us in the program. And Keith, pretty good day at Flemington yesterday. We'll talk about the Grand National shortly, but we'll introduce Wayne in a moment because that very good mare, Beachside, produced one of her best performances yesterday in winning the Ipswich Gold Cup. You would have seen a fair bit of her when she was with David Hayes earlier on in her career.
Yes, I did, Bruce, and she's obviously just keeps improving, and I think Wayne will confirm, but I think her time was almost a record time yesterday. She stormed home to snatch a race that looked like it would be won by Cavalier.
Cheval
Cavalier.
Exactly,
okay,
Keith.
Thank you.
God, I help you out sometimes.
You do, indeed.
Wayne, welcome again. Beachside's performance looked fantastic yesterday. Second last, widest runner on the turn and came steaming home to win.
Yes, the track was... well, it suited the swoopers yesterday at Ipswich, Bruce, and Beachside was beautifully ridden by Glenn Boss. He gave her plenty of time to find her feet. He was under instructions from TJ to stoke her up from about the 1,000-metre point onwards, and he did that beautifully. He tracked through nicely, coming to the home turn, and then he had no hesitation, considering the easy run that she'd had early, had no hesitation in swinging it to the outside, and she swooped on him in the straight, and she was able to beat them pretty easily. Alf Matthews did a great job on Cheval Cavalier. He gave him the run of the race, and he looked as though he was going to win the cup halfway down the straight when he sprinted to the lead, but he couldn't hold off Beachside. Beachside pretty convincing in a victory yesterday.
What about the other Smith runner? It was also stoked up, but a bit earlier than that, Pharaoh.
Yes, he raced very disappointingly. I think he's come to the end of a pretty tough campaign, Pharaoh. Chris Munn said he'd never travelled at any stage of the race yesterday, and he was a beaten horse a long way out, and he weakened badly over the final stages. He will now spell, and Beachside, by the way, they're giving thought to running her in the Grafton Cup, so there could be another cup coming up for Beachside.
Well, she won the Newcastle Cup, and the Grafton Cup's worth a lot of money, about $150,000 to $200,000. In cerise colours, white cap, second last when we picked them up, and widest horse on the home turn. Here's the Ipswich Cup.
Going around them wide, then Skylock and Beachside and Big Colony. They get to the 600, they quicken the tempo. Caladan, the leader, a half to Pharaoh's gone up outside him now. Mexico gets the third, followed by Cabura. Jacardo next, My Latin Boy, Cheval Cavalier, Skylock, a Marine Driver looking for ground, and Cool Credit forced to go very wide. There's chances galore on the corner where Caladan's joined by Pharaoh, and Cheval Cavalier race past them quickly. My Latin Boy next, then Marine Drive, Mexico, and here comes Beachside from a mile back on the field with a Withera. It might be the one, Beachside. It's out after Cheval Cavalier. Marine Drive between them. Beachside, the outside, takes the lead. This has been a big run, Beachside. Beachside wins the cup from Cheval Cavalier, Marine Drive.
So watch for her if she does go to Grafton. That was a great performance, and she's been very, very consistent and won a lot of stake money, something like $500,000. Stay with us, Wayne, because we'll be going to America shortly to talk about Let's Elope and also Rough Habit, who ran this morning in the Hollywood Gold Cup. Keith, Flemington, the Grand National Hurdle Race, the big event on the program. Small field, run in a strange manner because with about 1,000 metres to go, it looked more like a 1,600-metre race with 3 or 4 lengths between first and last.
Yes, it was a small field, but it did, as you say, Bruce, turn out to be an exciting race. The short prize favourite was Best Endeavours. He got back to last. Fun Verdict gave veteran trainer Jim Houlihan his second Grand National win, and it was a fantastic performance, and I don't think there are excuses for Best Endeavours. And now Jim Houlihan is thinking about lining up Fun Verdict in the Grand National Steeplechase next week. Only 2 horses have done the double in the 1 year. One was the Moss Trooper in 1930. He's the horse to become part of our vernacular, hasn't he? And the other one was 101 years ago, Red Leap. So it's a tough task, but it's a pretty smart jumper.
Which was more impressive on the day, Moss Trooper or Red Leap?
You've helped me out once, you might have to do it again, Bruce.
Let's go and have a look at the Grand National Hurdle Race and the winner here of Fun Verdict.
650 metres out. Here comes Phantom Appeal. Phantom Appeal is coming at Fun Verdict as they're about to straighten up, and Best Endeavours is very deep on the track, and he's under the whip as they straighten up. 2 jumps left to negotiate in the Grand National. Fun Verdict has taken the lead. About 2 lengths to Phantom Appeal. Best Endeavours down the outside. Shocker Tool, Delmar and Peros. The second last jumper. Fun Verdict has cleared it safely. Best Endeavours is trying hard to bridge the gap on Fun Verdict with 1 hurdle left to jump, but Fun Verdict has a nice break. Here's the last one. Fun Verdict is safely over it. He's 3 or 4 lengths to Best Endeavours. I don't think he'll get in the favourite. Fun Verdict is going on strongly in the final stages of the National. He's too good, Fun Verdict, and Fun Verdict comes down to score. Fun Verdict 5 lengths to Best Endeavours, 5 lengths away third, Shocker Toolin.
Well, totally different tempo, the steeplechase, and you've got to be a much better jumper than you do for a hurdle, but one thing he can do can stay, and he does have a lot of class, and he must be a chance, Keith.
Yes, he doesn't have a lot of weight at this stage, 62.5. He can be penalised up to 3 kilos. That decision will be made this afternoon. by the handicapper. I like hurdlers having their first steeple task, but this is the tough one. This is 5,000 metres and 23 fences. It's an endurance test, isn't it?
How did you compare the run with Urangi yesterday, who won the crisp steeple and has been in very good form?
Well, he's faultless, Urangi, but even his trainer, Theo Howe, is wondering whether the endurance test of the National might be straining Urangi. He's more brilliant. He might save him for the crisp. He also has a nice backup, Luna Fox, who took a tumble yesterday, but he's a great wet weather jumper.
OK, Keith, well, you spoke to Jim Houlihan yesterday, and one of the topics of conversation surrounded whether this horse would run in the steeple or not.
Yes, I was very pleased with the horse and I was very pleased with the ride, you know.
The big question now, of course, Jim, is whether Fun Verdict will line up next Saturday and contest the Grand National Steeplechase.
Yeah, that's going through my mind, I tell you.
What are the, what's the chances of him doing that?
Oh, I'd say there's about 80.
Well, he
80%.
Does have his ticket to go over the fences, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Right. Just first impression, do you think he pulled up well?
Excellent.
Well, he was 17, Jim Houlihan, when Moss Trooper won in 1930. So he might have seen him a long time ago.
And Jim Houlihan is 75 years older than his horse who won yesterday. He's 80.
He's 80. A 5-year-old's not very old to be winning Grand Nationals. Let's elope. Let's have a look at her win at Hollywood Park on Friday morning, and I'll talk to Wayne and Keith about their impressions. This is this magnificent mare having her first start in America.
He run wide out. Now there's only 3.5 separating the whole field. Less than a half mile to now pull to the grandstand side and comes with her run. And Let's Elope on the outside comes to tackle Skimble down at the rail. Skimble, Let's Elope. Let's Elope and Skimble coming to the wire together. Let's Elope on the outside, going to put her nose there. Here's the wire. Let's Elope, one at her nose.
Well, she can find the post. We knew that in Australia, didn't we? She had a big heart and a big finishing effort. That race for mares that hadn't won for 12 months, so putting it into perspective, it wasn't the absolute elite. It was far from it.
Well, that's right, but by the same token, they weren't slouches either. Some of them had international experience. The thing that really took me, Bruce, was the bulk of Let's Elope. She was grossly overweight, and to win with the courage like that, I think her future in the States is extremely promising. I mean, she's our Melbourne Cup heroine, so there's not been a better mare go to the States from this neck of the woods.
What did you think, Wayne?
I thought it was a tip-top performance by her, Bruce, given consideration that she hadn't raced for so long and first up over 1,700 metres. Naturally, it was going to be a tough assignment for her. But the quality of the opposition must be a little bit suspect, but she's so great, Let's Elope. She's bound to be improved as a result of the run. And sure, when she gets up over a little bit more distance, that's when she's really going to excel. So I think she's got a great future in the United States. I know they're targeting the Beverly D Stakes at Arlington Park in Chicago late August as her prime aim. And boy, she's going to be hard to beat in that race.
Hollywood Gold Cup was run today. I saw it coming live not too long ago. Rough Habit was never in the picture. He began poorly, always looked to be struggling, and the race was won by the current super horse, Best Pal. Here's the last 800 or 900 metres of the Hollywood Gold Cup.
Patreon is coming under pressure in third. He's beaten Missionary Ridge on the outside. Den Lottery winner. Market Tree going to try and move between horses. Major Impact next. And Rough Habit, the Australian, just not good enough. He's too far back. A quarter of a mile left to go. And Bertrando's trying to hang tough. But Best Pal and Corrie Black are breathing down their necks in second. It's turned into a two-horse race. I think you can make that a one-horse race. Best Pal on the outside. Lengthens his stride. Bertrando's tough as ever, but he can't quite go with Best Pal, and it's Best Pal, the Calbred all-time money winner, coming home to another superb win. This is the Best Pal we know. It's the champion Best Pal, striding home in the Gold Cup. Bertrando second, Major Impact just beats Market Tree, and Missionary Ridge out of third.
Yes, he finished 8th. He didn't really get a look at him there, Wayne, but he did miss the kick, never travelled well. Mick Dittman was at him a long way from home, and I don't think the race was run to suit, but what a task he had, because they're top class horses running on dirt, having to go to America. The odds were against him. He started 11 to 1, by the way. I didn't really expect him to run in the first 3 before the event.
It looked as though it was an enormous task. You see, Let's Elope, she's had 6 months to acclimatise over there. She's been trained the American way. Poor old Rough Habit went over there. He had a week to settle in and chase the best, the very best in the country. So it was an enormous task, but I guess a great experience for John Wheeler and Mick Dittman.
I think out of that experience we should really learn that you can't take on international competition at the top level as an addendum to a racing campaign. You've got no hope. If you're going to contest a race like the Japan Cup or the Hollywood Gold Cup, you have to have a preparation aimed at that race specifically, because you are racing, and that winner's obviously a very good horse, Bruce, so you just can't do it, tack it on the end of a campaign.
I think the other thing, and I'm not going to knock Rough Habit because I love the horse, he's 3 lengths or 4 lengths short of our very best. Now, Wayne, I'm not sure if you agree because...
I'd like to ask you, if I may chip in, to name a few horses that are 3 or 4 lengths better than Rough Habit off the cuff.
How many? Running at the moment, Naturalism and Viander Cross are clearly superior horses. They're A+, and he's an A- horse over the years. But you would never, in any Cox Plate, he would never be favoured. He'd be 8 or 10 to 1 in any Cox Plate, and that's the true test. You can win Stradbrokes and you can win those big races at Doomben, Wayne, but there's a difference when you get to the absolute elite. Now, I'm not knocking the horse.
Don't be kind, Wayne. Don't be kind. Jump in. Defend Rough Habit.
Look, he is a great horse, Bruce, but I do agree with you. I don't know whether he's 4 or 5 lengths off the best in the country.
I said 3 or 4, Wayne.
Still a big margin.
Don't be guilty of hyperbole because it's live telly.
I think maybe 1. I remember the day...
even Group 1 hyperbole.
Remember the day at Flemington in the McKinnon Stakes when he swept to the lead and Viander Cross just got him down that last little bit, so I think he's competitive with Viander Cross.
Oh, look, he's a terrific horse, but I also remember the day at Flemington in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes last year when he swept to the front at the furlong, and Corbichan, one of those ordinary horses of, well, he's not ordinary, average horses of David Hayes ran him down. He's not in Naturalism's class or Viander Cross, and that's the measuring stick when we take a... The only way you can measure the best from Australia against the very best from the United States or England is when our horses are at their top and our very best horses.
If I'd earned as much in the last 2 years as Rough Habit had, I wouldn't be in here chatting with you this morning, Brucey.
I thought for a moment you were going to say if you're doing as much as me. I was getting a little bit nervous, Keith. Wayne, briefly, in summary, because we've almost come to the end of what has been a very successful winter carnival, the absolute highlights, and I'm hoping you mentioned Never Undercharge in this lot.
Oh, well... Never Undercharge and Rough Habit, they're the top 2. The Doomben Cup win by Rough Habit was just magnificent. The performance to win 3 Doomben Cups was spectacular. But Never Undercharge, as far as the future goes, Never Undercharge is the new superstar of Australian racing. Can I just get back for one moment to the Rough Habit business? You know, he has never had a specific spring preparation. He's always come off a Brisbane winter. That's why John wants to spell him this spring and direct him towards the autumn in Sydney. He would dearly love to win the BMW with him. So when you're thinking about Rough Habit being, what did you say, Bruce, 3 or 4 off the best?
Yes.
Bear in mind, he has never had a specific spring preparation. He's always coming off the Brisbane winter.
It's a fair point, and if we had to follow one horse from your carnival in the next 3 months when the biggest races are being run, is it the obvious one?
Oh, Never Undercharge for sure. And another one to back him up. Now, we'll see this horse race next week at Eagle Farm. Ancient Ritual. I think he's a real stayer of the future. Now, whether he's Caulfield Melbourne Cup material this year, I'm not too sure. But believe me, he is a stayer of the future, and he'll prove that in the St Leger next week at Eagle Farm.
Yes, on that note, Wayne, Gerald Ryan has got the permission of the owners to really ignore our cups this year because he thinks, like you, that Ancient Ritual will be better next season.
Keith, good punting during the week. Wayne, catch up with you, mate, and we'll talk probably to you next week with that St Leger Stakes.
OK, Bruce, thanks very much.
Wayne Wilson and Keith Hillier, Motorsport, coming up after this.